We're thrilled to be celebrating 150 years in funeral service. Today, DeJohn Funeral Homes has 4 locations on the east side of Cleveland. But the history of the business begins with a man by the name of James Patrick Flynn, who started this in 1869. Mr. Flynn started in the farming business and bought some land in Kansas. Flynn then went into the mattress and furniture business. In those days, there were no so-called funeral homes. When there was a death in the family, you would go to the furniture maker for a casket. As the business expanded, Mr. Flynn moved to East 53rd and Superior, where he built a huge 4-story building for furniture and undertaking. The business later moved to Euclid Avenue, then called Funeral Directors Row, where 13 funeral homes were located within a span of 2 miles. In 1951, my father, Ross DeJohn Sr., began his career in funeral service by serving his apprenticeship in Middletown, Ohio. I, at that time, was newly born and lived above the funeral home in Middletown. We moved back to Cleveland in 1952, and in 1953, my dad went to work for the Flynn Froelich Company in East Cleveland on Euclid Avenue. In 1956, my father sustained a debilitating back injury, so it basically forced him out of the business. But he maintained his license and always talked about someday that he would re-enter the funeral industry. So in 1977, Mr. Mylott, who had taken the business over from his grandfather, suggested to my dad to start his own funeral service, and I started helping him at that time on a very limited part-time basis. We took care of maybe 10, 15 families a year, mainly people from church, close family and friends, until 1983 when I decided that I wanted to become a funeral director full-time. Right around that same time, the Mylott family decided to sell the business. After some negotiations for about 6 months, we came to an agreement and officially took over the business in October of 1986. I just saw that funeral service was something I could give back to the community and something that incorporated my faith in what I did on a day-to-day basis. I've always looked at funeral service as a ministry. Now, almost 40 years later, I find it every day to be very rewarding in helping people through the most difficult times of their lives.